Well, hi, everybody. Welcome back in to the Lorain County Blitz, product of the Chronicle Telegram and AM 930, 100.3 FM WEOL. I'm Matt Douglas from WEOL, joined by Marissa McNeese from the Chronicle Telegram. Marissa, playoffs underway in Lorain County high school football season.
Week 11.
Yeah, exciting. We're going into the second round, but an exciting first round we had there last weekend.
Absolutely. Couple teams won, couple teams saw their seasons come to an end, but overall, an exciting weekend for high school football.
Best way to put it. Lorain County legitimately went 2-2 in the first week of the postseason. I'll start with those teams that got the victories over the week, both in Division II, Region 6. The Avon Eagles victorious last week as they beat the Worcester Generals by a final score of 33-13. And Danny Zay in this game was knocked out of it for the Avon Eagles, and that's been a recurring storyline, unfortunately, for Avon this year.
They can't seem to catch a break with injuries this season. Nick Prusik goes down early. Now Danny Zay. It's been a struggle, but Avon, I think Coach Elder mentioned in the postgame, they have that next man up mentality.
Yeah,
it's kind of a cliche, but they've never had to use it more than they have seemingly this season.
Oh, man, they've had all kinds of players go down, and this just kind of adds to that storyline. Danny Zay has been a tremendous quarterback for the Eagles all season long. Now, from my understanding, he's still questionable for the upcoming game, but we're not 100% sure whether he'll go in there or not. Nonetheless, Nico Pappas entered that game after Danny Zay had thrown a couple of touchdown passes, and Pappas ran for 109 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, he knew it was his time to step up, and he got the job done.
Just like you said and Coach Elder said, next man up mentality, and that's exactly what the Avon Eagles did to sneak past Worcester there. Shouldn't say sneak past. It was a pretty handy victory, 33-13. As for the Shoremen, they also advanced with a victory over Maple Heights last week. They were the 2 seed taking on the 7 seed. That Avon Lake Shoreman defense does it again, holding Maple Heights to just 6 points.
I don't know how much more we can keep talking about them. They are just that good, though. They have not allowed more than 7 points, I think, since the first half of the season. They only let Maple Heights score 6. That defense just, I don't know. I don't know what else there is to say about them at this point.
We're running out of adjectives at this point. The snow fell. We're a little closer to Christmas, so they're very Scrooge-esque, Grinch-esque maybe is the way to put it here this time of season for the Avon Lake Shoremen. Again, they posted 38 points in that victory over Maple Heights as they move on to the second round in that bracket in Division II, Region number 6. Now, a couple of teams on the wrong side of the scoreboard on Saturday. Both the Lorain County teams went out. Keystone in that Division 5 tournament, taking a loss to Clyde. Keystone came in as the 1 seed. A lot of excitement going into that. Marissa, I had the opportunity to be at that game. What an atmosphere. The people in LaGrange did it up right at Keystone High School. They were out there an hour before that game started, tailgating. They were happy to see their Cats going.
That's a community that really rallies behind their teams, and I didn't expect anything less out of Keystone for sure. But a tough way for them to end their season, for sure.
Without a doubt it was, but still a strong performance nonetheless. Jacob Shackelford, a strong game in that one. He had 153 rushing yards, the quarterback for the Cats. Also threw for 133 yards through the air, had 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 passing. So a strong performance by him to finish out his career there at Keystone.
I don't know what we knew maybe about him coming into the season. Obviously a tremendous athlete. We knew he'd lead the team, but that's a season that they're going to be talking about at Keystone for a long time. Just one of the most impressive seasons we've seen this year.
Oh, for sure. They won the first ever Lorain County League title as well, and the future looks bright. They've got a lot of young stars on that team, and I think they're going to continue to progress, and they're going to continue to move forward under Coach Griswold.
Absolutely.
Another team that unfortunately got knocked out of the postseason in the Division 5 level, Elyria Catholic, falls the defending state champions Orville 34-13. Now they went up against a Mr. Football candidate at Markel Parks, and he showed why with 135 yards rushing for the Red Riders and 2 touchdowns in the game. And again, you take a look back at what EC did to get into the postseason, and there's no reason Panther fans or players should be hanging their head, winning 5 straight to clinch that playoff spot.
Yeah, if you remember, they had that 3-game losing streak in the first half of the season, and there were some questions surrounding the program and what they were going to do in that second half. And to make the playoffs 2 seasons in a row. They really were able to turn it around.
They really did. Brian Fox did another tremendous job coaching that team. Steven Navalinsky, their quarterback, I think really showed strong. Had a rough outing against Bay, but boy, did he bounce back. I mean, it was a fun season for the Elyria Catholic Panthers. A little bit of a roller coaster ride for them.
Definitely.
But a fun season for sure. All right, well, moving past that, of course, we always have our first Federal Savings of Lorain Team of the Week. And with 2 winning teams this week, we kind of took a look at those victors. And Marissa, you and I talked about this. And again, with everything they've had to deal with throughout the year, it's tough not to give it to the Avon Eagles. So we did. They lost their starting quarterback, Danny Zay. Nico Pappas comes in. I mean, that's the epitome of what a team is.
Absolutely. It's hard to think of Avon as a team that faces a ton of adversity. They always have a ton of talent, a consistently winning program, but they have had to deal with some pretty devastating injuries this season and have still been able to put together an incredible season to this point.
Is it fair to say they have a bit of that Mike Trout effect? I mean, you expect them to be good every single year, and they come out and they are every single year.
Yeah, that's just the standard they've set over there.
Again, what a story they've done this year, again, with all the injuries that they've faced. And again, to knock off Worcester last week 33-13, that's why Avon, next man up mentality, is our first Federal Savings Team of the Week. Team being that keyword there for sure. Now taking a look at a couple of individual players, let's put it that way. May have slipped into French a little bit there. A couple of individuals on their teams. I went with the top 2 from these 2. I went with Gage Dusler, the running back over at Avon Lake. Had a tremendous outing against Maple Heights, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a team that early on I think was really looking for any kind of spark in their offense. They've really come along here towards the end of the season, and in this playoff game, they really didn't turn to a passing game. Only 3, I believe it was 5 passes in that game by the Shoremen. And why throw it when you got a guy who's doing this? That's why Gage Dusler is my top 2 from these 2.
We've talked about their defense all year, but that running game has really been strong, and it's gotten stronger as the season's progressed for Avon Lake. So, yeah, great game by Gage.
Indeed. And who'd you pick?
I had to go with Nico Pappas from Avon. Coming in, he's got to be thrown in a playoff environment and really steps up. He had, 109 rushing yards and a touchdown and really came through when Avon needed him most, for sure.
No argument from me on that one. So congratulations to Gage Dusler of Avon Lake and Nico Pappas for being our top 2 from these 2. Moving on to next week, 2 games. That's what we've got to talk. A little bit shorter preview segment coming up here, but of course, both games will be featured on AM 930, 100.3 FM, and WEOL.com. The radio game we will have for you will put Avon Lake against Wadsworth, the Grizzlies. Those 2 teams meeting up in Strongsville. Wadsworth is an interesting team for this Avon Lake squad. I think they've got a good offense. They're very effective, very balanced. They're going to run into that Shoreman defense, though, and that's what's gotten them here, and I think that's what the Shoremen expect to get them further, too.
Yeah, it's you like to see Avon Lake put that defense against some of these teams from outside the area, see what they're able to do. Obviously, strong against Maple Heights, and, against Wadsworth, we'll see. Certainly.
I mean, there's no hiding at this point of the season. The best teams are taking on the best teams. Right. That is for sure. And then our Stream 2 game, Center for Orthopedics Gridiron Clash on Stream 2. Features Avon versus Benedictine. This is going to be a tough one for the Eagles, again, with all the injuries they've faced. Again, at the time we're shooting this, Danny Zay still questionable for the upcoming game. Not that Nico Pappas can't have a good game, but certainly you love to have your starters starting in games of this caliber. A Benedictine team comes in with 1 loss, and that was to Akron Hoban earlier in the season.
It's hard to root against Avon at this point in the season. They're consistently a favorite. They perform well in the postseason, but this is going to be their biggest challenge, arguably, at this point. So we'll see.
Well, this is one of those regional powers versus regional power type things. So everyone kind of sides up with who's in their area. So we're looking forward to that one as well. And again, both those games featured in our Center for Orthopedics Gridiron Clashes on AM 930, 100.3 FM, WEOL, and WEOL.com. Well, that does it. A quick recap of what was week number 1 and a quick grab of what is ahead as well. I believe we got one more thing. Bruce Bishop in the background. What's our one more thing here?
One more week?
One more week, yes.
And a wrap up.
Yeah, one more week, and then we wrap things up. So I didn't want to say we're out of the woods yet. We've got one more show before all is said and done. Hopefully we'll be talking about a couple of victories If indeed we are, that would mean Avon Lake and Avon are playing each other for a district championship, which would be pretty fun.
Well, I think everybody wants to see that at this point.
For sure, in Lorain County. I don't know where they'd play that game. Maybe just meet between the tracks right there. Put an old-fashioned sandlot game together for that one. Of course, the two teams have to come up victorious. And again, you can listen to those games on WEOL. And Marissa, a big thank you coming out, doing the show here again this week. Want to say you should be Rookie of the Year on the Chronicle Telegram picking line and on this show, Lorain County Blitz.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it. It's been such a joy. I've loved it.
Not a problem. Well, we're going to keep it going. We got one more week to talk about these teams. We'll see you next week on the Lorain County Blitz.